going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform. Much love, and we are back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to start this video off with a video, and then I'm going to come back with my commentary on this topic. So let me share my screen, and we will be right back, guys.
First at 5, disturbing new details. A 10-year-old boy charged with killing his own mother.
Police say he told investigators he pulled the trigger because he was mad she wouldn't let him buy something online. Let's get right to Steve Shamraz, anchoring our coverage live in Wauwatosa tonight from the Juvenile Justice Center. That's where the young accused shooter is in custody, Steve.
Yeah, Katie, the alleged killer here, again, only 10 years old, but facing homicide charges in adult court. That child is being held here at the Juvenile Justice Center, where he's awaiting an appearance next week before a judge. I'm going to bring my colleague Uba Ali in now. And Uba, you have been going through the details of what happened in some of the court documents in this case today.
Yes, Steve, and the details are very alarming. The complaint describes the very moment that child went into his mother's gun lock box and decided to take the gun out.
It's still a surprise when there's a shooting around Josie's quiet neighborhood.
Steve Frisch has lived near 87th and Hemlock for more than 2 decades. His quiet neighborhood was shaken up last week after police say a 10-year-old boy killed his mother. Frisch described the family as average.
He just asked me how I'm doing and stuff like that.
According to a criminal complaint, the boy originally told police he accidentally shot his mom when he was twirling the gun, but the next day, the family called police with serious concerns. They say the boy told his aunt he was actually aiming the gun at his mother. According to detectives, the boy said he got the gun because he was mad at his mom for waking him up at 6 in the morning and that she would not allow him to order a virtual reality headset from Amazon. Police say the boy told them he got the gun by taking his mom's keys to the gun safe. He says he took up a shooting stance and that he wanted to shoot the wall to scare her, but she walked in front of him. Family told the police the boy had, quote, rage issues all his life, and at 4 years old picked up a puppy by its tail and swung it around until it whined in pain. The criminal complaint states that 6 months ago, the 10-year-old filled a balloon with flammable liquid and set it on fire, which caused a sectional and carpet in their home to catch fire. A sibling told police the 10-year-old was meeting with a therapist who gave him a concerning diagnosis that led his mother to place cameras inside their home. The cameras were unplugged 2 weeks ago. A family member told police, quote, they felt bad for not stepping in earlier because they knew that eventually something bad was going to happen. This morning, we asked Mayor Kevlar Johnson about the charges the 10-year-old is facing.
Anytime there's violence that happens in Milwaukee, whether it's committed by somebody who's 10 years old or much older than that, that gives me pause. I don't want to see anybody hurt or lose their lives in the city. In this particular case, I don't have the details just yet. This is something that is just coming to my attention just this morning.
Now, a cash bond of $50,000 was set for the 10-year-old who will remain at this Justice Juvenile facility, Steve. And according to detectives, that 10-year-old did admit to them that he knew a gun could kill. That 10-year-old is now being charged, like you said, as an adult with first-degree reckless homicide.
So much going on with that young boy in that home, Uba Ali. Thanks for walking us through that. So,
Now, as y'all see the title of the video, this is part 2, as I promised you guys. And this is very, very, very tragic. It's a very, very tragic situation. Rest in peace to this beautiful young woman here. And it's sad that she lost her life to her son. And I'm going to say this, as I said before, man, this is exactly why I'm doing this series, because this is the final result of things, man. And This is why I say this is why dad should be home. Even if he's not present there physically, a dad presence has to be felt, man. Because even after being sent this video, and shout out to the visionary who sent me to this video, who sent me the video. Shout out to you. I'm not going to say your name. I know you don't want to be put out there, but shout out to you. But this is exactly why I say what I said, because let's just be honest, fellas, we cannot leave all of this shit on the mother. We cannot leave all of the responsibility of maintaining and raising a child. You see? If some of you brothers feel like it should not be your full financial responsibility to fully pay for everything dealing with your child, then it should not be her responsibility entirely to raise your child. Because based on what was said, and I have to point this out, the boy did go to a therapist, and his mother received an alarming diagnosis. And his mother put cameras up in the house to basically monitor him and also her because of this boy's level of rage and violence. And as they said, this boy has had rage issues since he was 4 years old. So I'm going to say this again. Where was his dad? And when I say this, I'm not saying this to put it out there as if it was his mother's fault or that it's women's fault in general why these men are not around. See, I'm not saying this. Because in cases it is, and in cases it isn't. And I'm going to just go ahead and say this, and I've always said this. Regardless to whether it works out with you and her, regardless of any of that, your responsibility is still to be to that child. If you are capable mentally and physically and financially eligible to help raise that child, you should do so to your best ability. If you're that parent, if you're their parent, biologically or not. If you stepped in a position to raise that child, that's what you do. If it doesn't work out with the child, if it doesn't work out with the child's mother, it is not your responsibility to then abandon the child. That child well-being still should be important to you. The child still is a part of you. They still belong to you. Even if the woman doesn't, fellas, we got to remember this. Because this is a perfect example on why dad should be at home, why dad should have been present. Because still, there's no dad being mentioned here. It's only the woman's family that's being mentioned. Where's the dad? Because I'm going to say this again. These issues that this boy could have been dealing with could be a result of his dad not being around, number one. Number two, or it could be a epigenetic issue where this boy has genetic markers that may come from his dad. And they may show, and these things may show up, or they are showing up, earlier in him, where in generations who was before him, it may have took longer. Maybe that's why the mom and the dad isn't together, because maybe his dad had rage issues and all of those things. And maybe that's why they broke up. And if that's so, then still he should be able to raise his kid. You see? And if it's that bad, then that man should be in therapy, but still should be actively trying to get his child, because he understands what lies in him is going to lie within his child. Basically, what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, mothers and fathers, we have to know what it is to fight for our children. We have to truly know what it is to fight for our children, what that looks like, what that sounds like. It's not just about buying everything and being there as a cash cow for your child. You got to still understand that you are responsible for your child's personal development. You see, and that comes through your love and your care. So understand this, fellas. This is why I say this is why dad should be at home. I'm not just saying that to alarm these women to let y'all see y'all children. I'm not just saying that. I'm also saying you, brother, need to take being a dad more serious. Because look what happened. This little boy killed his mom. And it came from a history of things. It is not something that just happened sporadically. This is something that has been going on. And I want to know if this little boy dad had any idea of this. Is his father dead? Is his father alive? Is his father in prison? Is his father in a mental institution? What is the mental state of his father? See, we don't know none of this. This is why dad should be at home. This is why. Because now we have a tragedy here, and it may have could have been prevented, man. And I say this because when a child know that there's a man present, not just any man, but a man who loves and cares about them, they feel protected. And I'm not saying that a child is perfect or that child wouldn't have still had issues. But I believe if a man was there and active, that the man could have worked through those problems with him. Especially if it was their dad, if it was the child's father or their dad. It don't have to be their biological father. It could be their dad. The man that they know. To work through these issues, to go to therapy with the mother. Because boys, especially boys, they respond different to their mother than to dad. And they respond different to mom when dad is around as well. So this is why dad should be at home, because this stuff could have been prevented, man. I believe it could have been prevented. I'm not saying that that little boy wouldn't have still had those traits. But I believe that boy could have got a lot more help because he would have had a man around to deal with it, to exercise it out of him. And see, I know this because I've dealt with a troubled child. And today, that child is a lot different because of me being around at those young ages of when this young man started acting out, this baby. He started acting out at 4. You see, those years where dad has to be around. This is why I brought the facts and showed y'all. The effects of single parenthood is the lack of child development, psychiatric illnesses. Now, add epigenetics on top of that. If this could be an epigenetic problem. On top of those things, you get what you had in this situation, and it's a sad situation. But this is why dad should be at home. This is why dad presence is supposed to be known and felt. This is why. Because it's not just about protecting dad and making dad look like the man. And no, it's not about that. It's about making sure everyone is okay. Because at the end of the day, even if it don't work out with a man and a woman, a real man still don't want to see that woman hurt. Because guess what? Guess what? That is still his child's mother. You see? So regardless, it's not gonna be a good thing for this to happen to any man in this situation where his child kills their own mother. But this is why dad should be at home. I'm going to leave the link down to the video down in the description box. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Make sure y'all stay tuned for episode 5 of this series. Shout out to all the visionaries. I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.